Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of John's never-ending list of random things to do. And for today's video, we're going to be installing CT Sound's 3-way component speakers on this 2019 Honda Civic Hatchback Sport. Now before I begin, I'm going to remove some required trims. Simply just put your fingers in here and then pull it up. Once you've done so, remove this weather strip right here as well. Good. Now going to the back, remove this trim here as well. As you can see, this trim isn't that easy to move, but with practice and time, it'll be much easier. Alright, it finally budged. Go ahead and remove this weather strip here as well. And then remove this bolt right here. Once you've done so, place your finger about this area right in here, and then pull. Alright. About midway up, pull. And now we should be ready to begin. Okay, so we're going to start here at the door panel. Simply slide your prying tool in here, and then pry it up. Again, take your time, you don't want to mess anything up. And then work this trim out. Great, now we have this trim out. So all you do now is flip it over and then remove this wire harness right here. All you really need to do is push down this pin and then wiggle it out. Now remove this Phillips screw right here and then we can start to pull off the panel. Now I'm going to be working right in this area. Try to fit your finger in there and then pull it. There you go. And then work your way around the panel. Place your hand in the middle of the panel and then push it forward. Now we can remove this screw right here. I just wanted to show you guys that the speaker is on there tightly. Look at that, it's not even wedging. So you need to pry it out with the prying tool. Just try to wedge something in there as best as you can and then try to pry it out. Good. Now lift up the speaker, flip it to its backside, and then remove the speaker harness. Since I'm going to apply sound deadener in this area, I'm going to remove this retainer clip right here. I will also need to remove this clip right here, and then peel up this plastic. As you guys can see, this wire harness is keeping me from moving this plastic piece all the way up, so I'm just going to remove this clip right here. Let's look at its mechanism. So all you have to do is push the two pins on the side and then push it through. I'm also going to be removing this clip right here as well. It's the same mechanism. Push the two pins on the side and then push it through. Don't forget to put it somewhere else where it's out of your way. Now with no obstructions, use a piece of tape and tape it up on top somewhere. Alright, and look at that, we have this big hole to work with. Now we can feed all of our sound deadeners through here. And this is my finished product. Wow, look at that. It looks horrible, just like the front doors. In reality, I thought I did a better job, but now that I'm looking at the video clip, it looks horrible. Okay, now I can put the door pieces back together. Go ahead and put pressure across all the adhesive, and then place the clips where they belong. Don't forget to plug in this harness here as well. On this pin here, press the two sides and then push it through. Since I won't be using these speaker harnesses, I'm just going to tape it up. Okay, now let's put this clip back where it belongs. Okay, now we can start cutting these edges. I just want to note that if you have shallow speakers, you do not have to do this. But again, since my woofers are pretty bulky, I'm just going to have to remove these, otherwise they won't fit. Now if you are doing this, you want to get it as round as possible. But again, you want to keep the flat edges, so the speaker trim has something to sit on. So with this final cut here, let's try on the speaker trim. It looks good. Sound deadener is applied. Insert the retainer clip right here. Then reinsert the speaker bracket. And we can finally screw it down. Now I just want to say, unlike the front doors, I won't be removing this 12mm bolt. I will be working in this area. First, I'm going to remove this grommet right here. Now remove this bolt holding the seatbelt mechanism here. And then don't forget this bolt up here as well. Now I didn't unplug anything, I just simply moved it out of the way. And with that out of the way, let's have a look inside to see what we're working with. Okay, so you see this clip right here? We're going to have to remove it, and then push the grommet through. Okay, now that clip is removed. Now you can push this rubber boot out from the inside, or simply just peel it from the outside like so. This wire here will be from my passive crossover to my woofer. So the wire is going to be fed through this hole right here. It's going to require a lot of playing around, pressing, pulling, and whatnot. Now that the wire is through, pull it as long as you need it for your setup. This wire here will be from my passive crossover to my tweeters. Again, it's going to be fed through this hole, and a lot of playing around is going to happen here. I'll let you guys watch it on real time. Now again, once you've got the wire through, make it as long as you need it for your setup. And that is it for speaker wires. Now we can start putting the grommet and everything back together. First, slide the clip and the grommet back in its location. And don't forget to pull your speaker wires through as well. Go ahead and fix this grommet here as well. Just to show you, this is not all the way in. You want to press it all the way in. Work it around. Alright, that looks good. Now let's check the other side. And everything checks out. Back inside, don't forget this clip right here. Let's go ahead and plug that in. Now before I reinstall anything, I'm just going to clean up these wires and reroute them with their OEM wire harness. Okay, with that done, now reinstall the seatbelt system. Now, insert the speaker wire through the foam baffle. I just want to note that I don't have a big hole here, but again, you want to cut half of the baffle. So in the area where I inserted the wire and half of the IB, all of that area, you want to cut a big hole right across it. Let's just say cut half of the baffle out. Also, you want to be using a sharp razor blade, because look at the horrible job I did. Alright, so now is the woofer. Go ahead and make the proper connections here. And now we can finally mount the woofer. I will be placing my passive crossovers underneath the back seat. So in this area, you see this 10mm right here? I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. Now there's a retainer clip right here and right here in this area. Let's start in this area right here. So here, right behind the driver's seat, if you lift this seat up, you see that right there, that white piece? Yeah, right there. Go ahead and grip it on both ends and then pull it towards the front of the vehicle. Sometimes you might need to put pressure on the top. And there it goes, it's loose. Here on the passenger side, again, this white piece right here, grip it and then pull it. There you go. And now the back seat is good to be removed. So this is the location I chose for my passive crossover. I've already made the connections here, and I've used this weather strip. It's padding so it doesn't vibrate. And look, I've applied some on the back side of the passive crossover as well. And it's just going to sit right here. It won't even move. The back seat have an open area that's going to be right on top of this, and it won't crush it. Now all I need to do is make the proper connections from this right here to my amplifiers, and that's all it is. The mid-range speakers are going to be installed in this area, but that's going to be in another video. Moving on to the tweeters, and here on the back side of the door panel, look, it's already traced out. I'm just going to drill a hole right here in the middle. Try to get it as center as possible, and then drill a pilot hole through it. Good. Then I'm going to introduce it to my hole saw. You want to use the size that's appropriate for your tweeter. Notice how it's not going, and I'm struggling. Well, you want to let it spin first and gain speed, and then let gravity work its way through it. You don't have to necessarily push it through. Just let the saw do its thing. Yeah, alright, look at that, there's a hole. Now you know what, let's test fit this tweeter. But before we do, I'm just going to remove this retainer right here. Okay, let's put it through. And look at that. Oh man, my hole saw was a little too small. What should I do now? Well, you know what? I'm just going to introduce it to my filer. Remember, you're working with plastic, so it's easy to file things down. Again, remember to work your way around and not in one specific area, and just keep retesting the fitment. Now let's do the final test fitment. Oh, is it going to go through? Oh man, well, oh look, it went through. Yeah, and look at that, it just popped in. Great. Just making some final adjustments so the logo shows. And then insert its retainer. Your retainer might be different, but it's somewhere in the back. And with that done, we are ready for our install. Make your tweeter connections before you reinstall your door panel. If this triangle piece fell off when you were pulling off your door panel, go ahead and reinstall it. And also make a note, when I reinstall my door panel, there's a gap between this triangle and my door panel. To fix that, all you have to do is grip it and pull it down. Finally, the door panel can be put back in. Align it with the proper hose. make sure the wire harness is coming through here as well. Otherwise, you're going to have to pull off the door panel. If you look carefully at the door panel and the triangle piece at the top right, you're going to see a little gap. Again, to fix that gap, all you do is grip the triangle piece and just pull it straight down. Reinstall this screw right here. Reinsert this harness here. And finally, reinsert your trim. And we are done with this installation. If that is all you guys are doing, then go ahead and reinstall all the other trims. But I have other things to do, so I'm just going to leave everything out. And look at that. It looks great. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did and you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, maybe even consider subscribing. And I will see you guys for the next installation.